That Sunday night schedule we got, awesome. And you got the flex back half of the schedule. Start out with Giants-Cowboys that Wednesday night, and then Peyton Manning at home against the Steelers. And you have a lot of these guys who are going to be nervous. Guys at TV networks are going to be going, man, Peyton better be healthy. Because the NFL, I mean, Peyton has to be healthy, I would think. Does the NFL inquire about that? How healthy is Peyton? Because we want to put him on Sunday night and then following week on Monday night. Let's get him while he's still healthy there. Going to be flexing games if he's not healthy late in the year. All right, we'll get to your phone calls. If you could only see one game, is that what we're going with here? Opening week, Paulie?
We could do multiple if you want. We could do one first hour. We could do Fritzy's got a great one. Hockey.
How about who should be hit in the face by Jeremy Roenick?
Why not?
Which Dan at? We can do that one. We'll get to your phone calls on this pressing poll question. Email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Yes, Seton.
What if Jeremy comes in and doesn't agree with the poll results and would rather punch someone else?
He can overrule.
He can.
Yes, he can. Yes. Roenick will join us in an hour from now in studio. 877-3DP show, email address, dp@danpatrick.com. Also, Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers. He'll be joining us. He's Peter King from Sports Illustrated, SI.com, his Monday morning quarterback, and, of course, Football Night in America contributor. Let me start with the Saints here, Peter. Is there a chance the Saints will know about the player punishment prior to the draft?
Well, I would think that would obviously be the fair thing for the Saints, because even though they're not picking until late in the third round, you'd want to know if, let's say, 3 or 4 current defensive players are going to be out for a certain number of games. I mean, they've probably already sort of armored themselves for the loss of Jonathan Vilma. I mean, they've signed 3 linebackers in free agency. But, if you start talking about other players who are currently on that defense, being gone for multiple games, and who knows what the sanctions are going to be, I think it'd only be fair for the Saints to know that when they draft.
The Vikings situation, I think, got headline form yesterday, considering what's going on with the stadium situation. What does it mean? If you're a Viking fan, now what are you waiting to hear?
Well, I think you're probably anticipating the Wilf family seriously considering their options now, which could also mean considering their options about moving. I mean, if I were them, I'd certainly be talking to Los Angeles. Only they can know deep down in their hearts what their intentions are long-term now in the wake of what I think really surprised people in the NFL, in the NFL office. Not necessarily surprised them over the last few days because they knew which way the political winds were blowing out there. But I think surprised them because going back to December, and I said it on Sunday Night Football, that I thought it was only a matter of time before they had a deal to remain in Minnesota, and that was not only clearly the view of the people in the Vikings, it was clearly the view of a lot of the people in the league office. So I think that they've got to consider all their options, including Los Angeles. But I know that that Ziggy Wilf and Mark Wilf really want to keep the team badly in Minneapolis, and I know that they are sort of shaking their heads and saying, well, there was a stadium for the University of Minnesota. There's a stadium for the Minnesota Twins. And now we don't get a stadium. So I think they are perplexed and a little bit angry.
Is there any chance they could play in the Twins ballpark? Why do we have to have a new stadium there?
I don't know the answer to that, Dan. It's possible, I suppose, but I know that they've been focused on the whole luxury seating aspect of it to be able to be competitive with a lot of the teams in the league right now. So I don't know the answer to that one, but I've never heard a co-tenant situation mentioned about Target Field.
He's Peter King from Sports Illustrated, Football Night in America contributor, joining us for the Dan Patrick Show. Most interesting story heading into the draft will be what?
Where does Ryan Tannehill go? I think we all know what's going to happen at 1 and 2. It's going to be Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III. And even if there's a colossal upset and Griffin goes first, it's going to be Luck second. So those two guys will be off the board. Minnesota's going to try hard to get some action at number 3 and trade the pick. I don't think they're going to get that action. Cleveland is the mystery team right now. They're what I consider to be the pivot point of this draft. And if they take Tannehill, the Texas A&M quarterback, I think that what they do at that point is then they make it very confusing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Greg Schiano at 5 and Jeff Fisher at 6 both love Trent Richardson. So if he's available at either one of those spots, that could really throw the draft, sort of turn the draft upside down because I think everybody believes that the Bucs are going corner with Morris Claiborne at 5 and that Tennessee is probably going receiver, which they desperately need with Justin Blackmon at 6.
You look at the NFL schedule released last night, and we like to do this. We like to see there's going to be a couple of teams that will make the playoffs who didn't last year and a couple of teams that were in the playoffs who won't be in. Have you gotten that far into the schedule where you would handicap it and say, these two teams are in or these two teams are out?
No, I really haven't. The one team that I think is probably going to be significantly better and I think could win double digits is the Redskins. I think that their defense is going to be a top 10 defense, and Robert Griffin III, I think, is going to have a smooth transition to work with Mike Shanahan. I think they're going to be really good. The other team that I think is going to rise up is the Panthers. If you kind of look at their schedule, it's a very manageable, doable, winnable. To me, 8 or 10 games. I think Carolina is going to be better. I also think Seattle is going to be a lot better. But the schedule comes out, and everybody kind of goes nuts with it. But the one thing I thought, and Don Banks wrote about this on SI.com, I'll tell you, there's a lot of network people now holding their breath. We don't even know if Peyton Manning is going to come back healthy. Everybody thinks he will, but boy, if he doesn't, and he's not playing or he's not playing well, their maximum amount of primetime exposures, because they've obviously got 5 of them, that could be a little bit troublesome. They open on Sunday night and then on Monday night, so it's going to be interesting to watch what happens in Denver, rather.
Great to visit with you as always, Peter. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Dan. All the best.
Peter King from Sports Illustrated, Football Night in America. You were hoping that you'd have Peyton Manning against the Colts or Tim Tebow would go back to Denver. Maybe Brandon Marshall and Miami would cross paths again. But for the most part, I think you got some interesting matchups there. But I do think that the NFL was saying, let's put Peyton on early in prime time. And then you get the Sunday night game, and then you go following week, Monday night. But I don't think these schedule makers did the Giants any favors. It's pretty tough. If you look at now, I know you can look at these games and go, well, what's it mean now? Or, boy, that looks like a tough game. We don't know because of injuries. They'll certainly play a factor here. But the NFC East, Philadelphia should be good. Dallas should be good. The Redskins will be better. Giants play their 3 of their first 4 games in prime time. They don't get a bye until week 11. They will play a game. This is the first time in NFL history. You'll have a team playing on Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night in the same season.